Yo, welcome to another edition of OTBN NBA Recap with your guy, Chris LeBron, hosted Off the Ball Podcast, Get a Bucket Podcast, and El Prezi of the Off the Ball Network. But first, before we dive into last night's game, not a lot of games last night, but some intriguing storylines and some news coming out of those games. This show is brought to you by our good friends at SeatGeek. SeatGeek, your number one place for all your ticket needs. You make sure to use the promo code Off the Ball Network, all caps. Remember, all caps, and get $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. We got college basketball season in full swing, with tournament games around the block, NBA season in full swing, NHL season. Make sure to go on over, get a little discount, save you some money, and use the promo code Off the Ball Now at SeatGeek.com. Your number one place for all your ticket needs. Let's dive right into it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about, the big game, of the night, and that's the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers take care of business 129 to 123 in overtime. Obviously, LeBron James did not play in the game versus Brooklyn. And a lot of people were freaking out over that, load management and all that. But like we mentioned, that's all for a whole nother show with load management and all that. But LeBron comes into the Garden and does what LeBron does every time he comes to the Garden. It feels like had a great, a solid performance with a triple double, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists, and the win in overtime. Jalen Brunson did his thing. He had 37 points. 6 assists. He was absolutely tremendous, especially down the stretch with some big shots, especially in the fourth quarter. He definitely did his thing. Julius Randle had 23 and 12, but 6 of 19 shooting. Just not a good game for Julius Randle. Though, see, that's a fair assessment when if you just look at the stats, you just 23 and 12, that's good. But if you watched it, he wasn't on his A game today, Julius Randle. 2 of 9 from 3. Just not a good game. Just not a good game from Julius. Quentin Grimes was solid with 12. RJ Barrett, a big storyline. He didn't play a lot down the stretch. He's been struggling. Did not play, like I said, and after the game, didn't talk to media, just with the little, I don't know what happened, essentially. I'm paraphrasing, but he didn't know what happened, why he wasn't playing down the stretch. So intriguing stuff, with RJ. We don't know what's happening in that situation with RJ Barrett. And if he's going to play, what's his playing situation and all that, that's a situation that we should be monitoring, especially if you're a Knicks fan. He just signed a new contract or a rookie extension. And, that's something that, going to be interesting to see what happens, because that could potentially be a dicey situation, and all that end. But Lakers take care of business 129 to 123. To 123, taking care of business against the New York Knicks. And LeBron James, I think he's in the 80s now, as far as, around 89 points, getting closer to that that scoring mark. That's getting closer and closer to breaking Kareem's record, and which he's trying to do at crypto. So that's going to be, we're getting closer, man. We're getting closer to seeing history but the Knicks just fall short, and there's a lot of things going on in Knicks land. A lot of Knicks fans upset with some rumors and all that, upset about, the OG stuff and all that, and we'll dive into that a little bit later as we get a little bit deeper in the show. But the Knicks fall short to the Los Angeles Lakers. Another home loss too, man. The Knicks just the Knicks just can't win at home. It's just a very odd thing. I think they're 2 games under at home, if I'm correct. Find like they're but I believe they're 2 games under. It's not good. Not good. Not playing good at home. So they just could not take care of business. Just couldn't take care of business at the Garden. And that's just unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. The loss of Mitchell Robinson is really hurting this team because Jericho Sims gave you absolutely nothing. He didn't give you much, just 3 rebounds. Hartenstein essentially played most of the game. He was solid, 16 and 13. Quickly had 19 off the bench. But the big story is obviously the RJ not playing much down the stretch. That's going to be a big topic of discussion. But Anthony Davis had 27 and 9. Rui Hachimura played solid. He played really solid. That's going to be a good addition, very good addition for them. I think he's going to fit in well with them. Almost had a double-double, 19 and 9. Westbrook was solid off the bench with 17, 6 and 8, 7 to 6, 13 shooting. So solid performance. The Lakers, maybe they're finally getting things right. This could be. This is now or never for them. They got to start rolling. Getting Rui in there. He's in the starting lineup. They feel like they got their core, that lineup that they like late game. I think it's going to be Rui, Davis, Westbrook, Braun, and AD. Finishing up for LA. That's what it seems like. Feels like the best lineup for them. So add some size of Rui and all that. So maybe this is now or never for them. Now or never for them. So, but take care of business. 129, 123 at the Garden. Let's head on over to our next game. The Bulls versus the Clippers. Clippers 108. The Chicago Bulls 103. Bulls were up big. They were up big in this game. And like they've done all year, they just can't finish games. They cannot finish games and did not take care of business. Kawhi had 33, along with 5 steals, 2 blocks. That's the Kawhi we built, that's the Kawhi that we want to see. And Paul George had a triple-double with 16, 10, and 7. Zubac had a double-double. Norman Powell at 27 off the bench. Great performance by him. Chicago had 6 guys in double figures, all 5 in the starting lineup with double figures, but not enough. Big Vooch had 23 and 14. DeRozan had 20. Zach had 18, but just not enough. They were up big. They were up big in this game, especially early on, but just could not. The consistency, man. They just can't find their groove, especially offensively, man. It has just been a very up and down season for this Chicago Bulls team. There's parts, even if you just go game by game, there's games where, man, they look like they're back. And then there's games where there's like, first half, you're like, okay, they're looking good. Second half, they just absolutely collapsed and just couldn't get the job done. And they did solid, but the offense has just been the massive issue with this Bulls team. This offense just cannot figure it out. And then with Lonzo, his knee is not doing well at all. Like it's disheartening too. It's disheartening too with the Lonzo stuff because, like I've talked about before, it felt like when they had Lonzo there, they were really rolling. And without him there, the offense just is out of whack and struggling. And so disappointing. I wonder what the Bulls are going to do with the deadline. Are they selling? Are they going to stay put? We'll see what happens. But Clippers take care of business 108 to 103, led by Kawhi with 33 points. Great game for Kawhi Leonard. Just hopefully he plays more. We need to see more Kawhi, man. Need more Kawhi Leonard. Please. So, and also for my narrative, because I have the Clippers and the 76ers in the final. So, come on, Kawhi. Need you out there, man. Help me out here, man. My picks my picks have been looking a little better early on the season. I had Sixers, Clippers. Wasn't looking so hot. A little better now. So, take care of business 108 to 103. Let's go to the next game. Milwaukee Bucks 124. The Hornets. I was about to say New Orleans Hornets. No, Charlotte Hornets I mean, they are playing like the New Orleans Pelicans right now. Pelicans are struggling, but we'll talk about that next. Bucks 124, Hornets 115. Giannis 34 and 18. Another great performance anyway. Running in for the player of the night, OTBN player of the night. Hornets had six guys with double figures. All five of their guys in the starting lineup had it, but just absolutely they played absolutely no defense. LaMelo Ball had a triple double, 27, 10, and 11. Plumlee had 14 and 4. Terry Rozier had 27 points, but an inefficient 20 points with 6 of 20 from the field. I mean, same amount of shots as points. It's not good. But Giannis 34 and 18. Chris Middleton 19 minutes, 18 points. He seems like he's finally, getting back to his old self. Getting to the line also. So that's going to be huge. Wesley Matthews had 11 off the bench. Drew Holiday 15 and 13 rebounds. But they take care of business. Dominant performance. Bucks are scary. Scary team. It's not a team I want to play. Not a team I want to play right now. Nah, I'll go save that for last. Heat 100, Cavs 97. This one hurts because I took the Cavs live money line and they failed me. I thought this was it. But that's why live betting sometimes it's fun, but then you get stuff like this because you think it's a lock. You think Cavs gonna take care of business and then they don't. But never doubt that man, Jimmy Butler, because he is him. Jimmy Butler had 23 points, 3 steals, 5 assists. Donovan Mitchell. There's a defensive battle, especially in the fourth quarter. It was a fight, a battle. That Jimmy Bucket. Yep. Kevin Jimmy Buckets. He was him. And yes, the Bulls stink. Free Vucevic. Yeah, man, that trade sometimes looks, it looks bad, especially with Lonzo out. But it was a defensive battle in this game, especially late. But Jimmy Butler and company hold off the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Miami, like we mentioned before, they're figuring it out. They had Caleb Martin was huge for them too. He was absolutely huge for them. 18 and 10. Tyler Hero had 18. Bam had 18 and 11. Kyle Lowry 6 points. Kyle Lowry, man. He's definitely not him. You know how Jimmy Butler is him. Kyle Lowry is not him, especially this season. I mean, it's definitely not him this year. 12 points, 5 assists. I just, if this Heat team, they need. I don't know what they should do something at a deadline. They need some more. They probably need them another point guard. I know they got some smaller guards. Seems like they need something that they need to point guard. It won't come easy, but something they need to probably make a big move, get some more youth, especially there, but more athleticism. But good win, 3-point win, especially with Donovan Mitchell coming back. That's a good win. Good win on the road versus a very good team. Took care of business, defensively. To hold Mitchell and Darius Garland to 30 points combined. That's good. That means you're making them work. You're making them work, and they didn't get off their shots like they usually do. And you made Donovan Mitchell work, Garland. Let the other guys, let Mobley go off. And he's someone. Mike Lowry. Yeah, he play. I'd rather have Mike Lowry than Kyle Lowry right now. At least I know Mike Lowry can shake and bake a little bit. I don't know about your boy. But good performance. Good performance from Miami defensively, man. That's why they're always so tough. They're going to be a tough out regardless in the playoffs. Always going to be a tough out. All right. In the last game we're going to discuss is the Nuggets and the Pelicans. Nuggets 122, Pelicans 113. I feel bad for the Pelicans, man. I'm super high on this team. I absolutely love them, but it is 9 straight losses for them. Now, obviously, no Zion, BI, I think played in 2 of these games, but he's missing with the toe. 9 straight losses, man. It reminds me of when Brooklyn lost KD and Kyle, and they lost like 13 in a row. This reminds me. I mean, I think the Pelicans are obviously better than the 10th seed in the West, but right now they are probably with this team currently constructed, they might be the worst team in the West. It's that bad with the way they are right now. But they're sitting on 10th. They desperately need at least Bi to be relatively healthy, so at least they can get some scoring punch. But excuse me, it was a tough watch. It's a tough watch watching them without them. But Nikola Jokic, triple double again, monster performance, doing what he usually does: 26 points, 18 rebounds, 15 assists. Jamal Murray had 32. Everyone starting lineup had double figures. So a great performance, but they did exactly. I wonder what they're gonna do with Bones Highland, because Bones Highland only played 4 points. I mean 4 points, only 4 minutes in this game, and he's been someone that's we've been hearing in the trade stratosphere what he's gonna do. His minutes have been so up and down and all that, but which is crazy because there was a point in this season, beginning of the month, and into late last year, 2022, that he was playing really good basketball, and then it seems like from middle January till now, he's been struggling, and it shows with this fluctuation of minutes. You get 7 minutes here, 15 minutes here, and he's someone that's very talented, but he may not just fit what they need right now. Even though, I mean, it's hard to believe he can't use a guy who can get you 15, off the bench. He gives you that. Like, he reminds me of Emmanuel Quickly or like a Tyrese Maxey, that type of combo guard. Derrick Rose now, or Derrick Rose Minnesota, New York Knicks when he first got here, that type of player. That is shifty and all that can score. Your smaller guard, but someone who's so shifty and all that could get you a bucket. But seems like they were out on him. People are out on him, so gonna be interesting. Going to be interesting. See what they do. But big 122-113. Denver Nuggets take care of business at home. So not a lot of games, but some storylines that we're gonna dive into next. Let's talk about some trades I've been hearing. Hawks. We've been hearing about a lot, especially about John Collins, but there's rumors running around that they're interested in players in return, not essentially just draft picks. So which shows that they're going to be in it to try to make the playoffs and all that, to be a playoff team this year. Obviously, when you trade for Jamal Murray, for DeJounte Murray, you're trying to be a playoff team, and you still got Trae Young, but they sit right now at the 8th seed. They're a game and a half behind the New York Knicks for 7, so they're in the play-in. Right now they would be playing Washington in the play-in, but John Collins, his fit there has just been questionable, and I'm sure he probably would like a change of scenery, so his game can continue to evolve. And because I think there is more to what we see with John Collins. I think he could do a lot more, but in his team, he's kind of just had to play a role. His 3-point shooting is down. This year he's not shooting the 3 ball well, but he's someone that's going to get you double figures in points and, get you 6, 7, 8, give you a double potentially a game. And I feel like there's more to his game than what we're seeing right now. And maybe the change of scenery, and maybe they can get some more pieces, but also we're hearing also that, Bogdan Bogdanovic is in high in demand too. So what does Atlanta do? I mean, I don't, if you want to sell to an extent, not sell like, all right, we don't care about making a playoff, but sell, to get maybe, some more pieces, that fit better. It's they're in a tough spot, Atlanta. They're in a tough spot because obviously they got Trae Young, who they just gave a rookie extension to. They just traded 3 first-round picks to get, DeJounte. Want to make him happy, want to make Trae happy. What happens in Atlanta? That's going to be Very interesting to see what happened at the deadline with them. They have definitely some front office issues, head coach issues. At one point, this team was thought, they made the conference finals, and including myself, I thought, okay, this team could be very good, or they can make a big trade. And they did make that trade. I said they would make a big trade potentially to get someone, and they did make that trade in DeJounte Murray. But it just seems like the inconsistencies just up and down all season. But that's been a lot of teams there. There's a lot of teams like that we've seen just up and down play and inconsistent. I mean, just talk about Chicago, Toronto, teams that are in that mode where you're like, they should be better than what we're seeing on the court. And maybe they have, and maybe if you're the front office, you're like, okay, we're going to get it together. But it's like, all right, when is that going to happen? It has to happen sooner or later. Has to happen sooner or later because, not that you're worrying about. And also it's like, well, there's no one behind them that they're really worried about, for Toronto. But, and if you're Toronto, you can have feelings like, yo, if we can just get into the playoffs and be an 8 seed, and, we could go toe to toe with Boston. That could be their feeling. So I don't know, but going to be interesting to see what happens. Also, just some information for today. Pistons Wizards is postponed today due to icy conditions in Dallas. I'm assuming they had some weather issues out there. So Pistons Wizards today. I know everyone was just couldn't wait to watch Pistons versus Wizards today. So I'm sure a lot of people are disappointed, that they won't be able to watch Killian Hayes going at it with, going at it for the Pistons today. So no Pistons Wizards today due to their inclement weather conditions out in Dallas. So just wanted to post that out for you guys. But also, the last thing I'll talk about before we get into our player of the night, the Knicks are willing to trade 3 first-round picks for OG Anunoby. Obviously, he's probably been the hottest name in the trade market. He's probably the biggest prize, if you want to say, in the trade market. This got a lot of fans up and roared. We didn't pull the trade for Donovan for 3. Why would we do this for OG Anunoby? Is it unprotected? Is it protected picks? It's all over the place. But like I mentioned, I think he is a good fit. But I wouldn't be mad if they don't pull the trade. I think he is. I think he is a fit. I think he's a guy who may have some untapped offensive potential. Obviously, we know he does defensively. He'll make Mitchell Robinson's life a lot easier when Mitchell gets back. We'll probably see a lot less fouls from Mitch because, we don't have great perimeter defending right now. Makes Grimes coming off the bench, let him go off against second units and guard the second unit, players and all that. I think that might be, right now Grimes' best fit, but 3 firsts is a lot. It depends. I mean, unprotected and all that. Messiah he's a messiah. he knows what he's doing. I just hope that it's just, I'm someone who values picks and all that. So I'm not one of those people who don't care about picks like some, but I value picks. Unprotected, especially for a team like New York that still has a questionable future. It's not guaranteed that we're going to be a playoff team every year where it's like, whatever, we're giving up the 20 picks in the 20s. It's still a team that I'm like, okay, I don't know. I'd be kind of weary of doing that with the questionable future. So if you had to ask me right now, I would not pull the trigger on that deal. But this front office, like I mentioned before, is such a unique front office. They don't really, sometimes I don't know what direction they want to go through. What is the direction of this team? That seems to be the biggest thing, is what direction are we going to? And being so reliant on having to go through free agency and trades, I think eventually can backfire on you. And relying, and then RJ situation, that's going to be kind of weird, with him not playing, and he's had a few of those, not just this year. There's been times in the past where RJ or Tibbs does not play RJ late because he's just not there. And I have no issue. I know people could get on Tibbs and all that. I don't have an issue with that. You ain't playing good, don't you? Then you're not going to be there late. Now it's up to Julius Randle didn't have a great game. And then if Julius Randle's playing like he was previously, we win that game against the Lakers. And it seems like the Knicks have some tough late games, especially at the Garden. It seems like they have some soul crushing losses at the Garden. The one against Toronto, the one against Chicago with DeMar with the late. Some tough Oklahoma City loss. That one hurts still, but some tough home losses. And you got to protect home court, and they don't. The Garden was rocking and all that. LeBron's in town. Julius, and this is what we need with Julius. And I've defended Julius a lot this year because I feel like he gets a ton of crap. Like he'll have a triple double, and people be like, "Well, he had this possession where he didn't look like he wanted to pass to RJ or this." It's like I feel like a lot of people nitpick on Julius Randle, but moments like this is where, hey man, you got to play big. This is a big game. This is a big game against LeBron James and your former team, and you didn't show up. Brunson had a great game, and there's questions whether we should have seen more Brunson late, especially in the fourth and in OT, but wasn't the case. They fall short, but OG does make the team better, and I know people are seeing him with a bunch of other guys, but he's averaging 17 with having Scotty Barnes and Gary Trent averaging 17 and or 17, 18 points. You got Fred VanVleet around that same range, and Pascal's averaging 25, and he's kind of in that 4-5 scoring option. He's still giving you solid production. So like there could be some potential offensive upside if he comes here. I know we have Brunson and Randle, but if it doesn't happen, I'm not tripping because it could be a move. But I don't know what this front office wants to do, man. Sometimes I just don't know what they want to do. Are they going to go all in? If they were going to go all in, they should have just got Donovan Mitchell and really go on. And then I think a lot of fans would feel a little bit more better, but wasn't the case. He's a Cleveland Cavalier, so we move on. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. If OG is a Knick, we'll see. I don't know, but going to be interesting to see. Going to be interesting to see. But our OTBN Player of the Night goes to our NordVPN. OTBN Player of the Night, NordVPN. Make sure to check out NordVPN. They have great deals going on for the new year. Check them out on the website, front page, on the bottom. Check them out. Click the link. Helps us out a lot. But our NordVPN OTB Player of the Night.
As an outstanding perimeter defender.
Shot clock down to 6. Murray, beautiful dime. Jokic, the
finish. He makes that shot look easy. That is a very difficult shot. That like 6 to 8 foot shot off 1 foot. You have to have such great touch. And then there's another steal.
Well, that fourth slot. Nance. Well, he's got a motor that just doesn't stop. But he's unable to put it down. Jokic, the bobble. And the finger roll. Just a thing of beauty from Jokic.
Get 2 defenders on Ingram on the pick and roll. And he has been a very willing passer, creating good looks. And I think Denver needs more of that.
A little bit of a run out now. Marshall and KCP gets it back. Ahead of the field, Jokic, and he lays it up and in. Let's get more now in Highland with Chris.
Nikola Jokic, triple-double, our OTBN Player of the Night, brought to you by NordVPN. Make sure to use NordVPN. New deal, 59% off on all deals on NordVPN. Make sure to check out the link on our homepage at offtheballnetwork.com. That is offtheballnetwork.com. Make sure to also check out SeatGeek. Remember, one place for our ticket needs. SeatGeek.com, $20 off your first purchase. But that's going to conclude another show. OTBN NBA recap. Like I said, I'm sure there's no Wizards Pistons today. So I know a lot of people like the Pistons League Pass team. That's the old League Pass team. But they won't be playing tonight. But we got 76ers Magic, Grizzlies, Blazers, Celtics, Nets, Timberwolves, Warriors, Rockets, Thunder, Spurs, Kings, Jazz, Raptors, Suns, Hawks. Some intriguing matchups there. So got a nice slate of games. We'll go over those games tomorrow. But make sure to check out offtheballnetwork.com. Make sure to go to Twitter on OTB_network. Make sure to check out all the great content we have and all that. So on that note, be well, be safe, take care. Peace out.